This week's episode of the Iowa Hunting and Fishing Report is brought to you by Manson Lumber Bait and Tackle. Be sure to stop in for your lumber and fishing needs at Manson Lumber Bait and Tackle.
Now where the tall grass bends in the morning light and the river runs quiet through the day and night. From the timberline.
Hello folks, Aaron McKinney with the Iowa Sportsman Hunting and Fishing Report for June 12th. Got a special guest today, Shawn of Manson Hardware and Bait, correct?
Manson Lumber Bait and Tackle.
Sorry, Manson Lumber. Known him forever, can't produce.
That's all right. That's all right. It happens.
That happens. But great guy, loves to fish, knows his fishing stuff, and he'll give us an in-person fishing report. So we got something a little new today. Get into it. The fishing report so far has been pretty good. What I've been hearing from the rivers is it's a little up, especially in the areas I have your fishing reports for. It will get better. It looks like it's going to go down, but they got hammered pretty good on the east side of the state with rain again. So to get into that, Oakland Bait and Tackle. He said catfish are very good on stink bait right now. So I would guess probably Triple S, Sunny, something like that. Charlie's Dip Bait is always good. And the river by the weekend, he thinks will switch to a little bit better live bait and cut bait bite as it goes down and clears up a little bit, which makes sense. Also spoke with Clark's Outfitters in Central City. He said the river's a little slow again where he's at. It's high, muddy. Once you go to the ponds and the lakes is where they're biting. And again, you're probably going to catch your panfish. You're going to catch your bass and walleye as well. You have to do a little more searching for them. But the bite's going really, really well, as Shawn will attest to. He's got a really good report coming up. Right now, we're going to cut to a segment. I'm going to go through how to sight in your bow and make sure your bow is paper tuned. So check that out, and we'll be right back with Shawn. Hello, folks. Welcome to this week's episode of the Iowa Hunting and Fishing Report instructional segment. Quickly, deer season's over for archery. Turkey season's just finished up here in Iowa. So bows get knocked out of sight, get knocked out of tune. So we're just going to check our paper tune and show you how to do that. At least check the paper tune. If it is out of tune, your cam's out of time, I would highly recommend taking it to Pro Shop unless you're competent in fixing your own stuff. So again, this is more for, I wouldn't call it a beginner, but beginner to mid-level archer. And there's lots of ways that you can tune a bow, but we're just going to show you a paper tune real quick, and then we're going to go sight the bow in. And I moved it out of sight a little bit just to show you what we need to do to sight it in. Welcome to this week's segment. Stay tuned. Got a piece of paper up there, as you can see. I'm going to shoot an arrow through that paper. What that's going to tell me is if my arrow is flying straight or I got a little tail left or right or up or down. Inevitably, we want it to be straight through the paper. That way we know our arrow is flying nice and straight and we don't have to worry too much about tuning. Let's shoot it through the paper, kind of see where we're at. Okay, let's check out our paper tune real quick. So if you see where our arrow entered right here, you see a nice hole right there and you see 3 veins. So we know that arrow is flying really, really well. To show you one that's a little out of tune but not bad, if you look up at this one here, you can see where the entrance of the arrow hole was there, but the veins were over here. So we're getting, a little bit of a tail right. So that would need tune. That can affect your arrow flight, especially if you have broadheads on. So we're going to go back. We're going to shoot some arrows to see where our arrows are hitting because we know our bow is in paper tune, and we'll show you how that works. All right, so you can see here where we hit left of the center where I was aiming, and I made some adjustments to my bow, so I made sure that we missed. Again, we missed left, so the easy way to do this is, remember, chase your arrow. If you're missing left, you're going to move it left, and that means your sight. You're going to move your sight to the left. That's about 4 inches. Every sight's a little bit different, how far you have to move it. So you got to play with your sight to see the variables that your sight entails. So some sights you might have to move it a bunch to move it, some not so much. So again, if you're shooting left, you move it left. If you're shooting right, you move it right. If you're shooting up, move it up. If you're shooting down, we're going to move that sight down. So it's very easy. Just remember that. Chase the arrow, and you shouldn't have any problems. It should reduce your sight in time so you can get shooting and practicing. Looks like we made the proper adjustments. Again, we hit here last time. I moved my sight over to the left. As you can see, that brought it right back, and that could be a human error. I missed by 1/4 of an inch. So I'd be pretty happy with that about every day. Brought it into tune, brought it into sight, everything's good. Broadheads might be a different story, but we'll we'll approach that when it gets a little later towards deer season. So that wraps up our segment of sighting your bow in and checking your paper tune. Again, very important to make sure that arrow is flying straight, because it can affect your shot greatly, especially when you put your broadheads on later on in the year to get ready for deer season. So it's very simple to do, and it's very simple to adjust your sights on your bow. So if you are out of paper tune, I would suggest going to a professional bow tech. They can help you out there, because that's very, very important. But if your paper tune is good, you just have to sight in. Just remember, chase your arrow, and you'll have everything you need. So let me introduce my guest, Shawn Rolling, Manson Hardware.
Manson Lumber.
Manson Lumber Bait and Tackle.
Yep.
Awesome. I've been over there. He has a really, really nice shop. Let's see, bait. You brought bait and tackle in, what, a couple years ago? A year ago?
It's been a little over a year now.
A little over a year, yep. Got really good equipment. I know that because I sold it to him. But he does really know what's going on in the area for fishing. He's from Manson. What are your hours of operation there before you kind of get in your fishing report?
Our business hours for the lumber store and the bait shop are 7:30 to 5, but we do have after hours for the bait shop. It's kind of a self-serve thing after hours. There's like a doorbell outside. You ring the doorbell, I'll answer the door because it's on a ring so I can see who it is. I'll let you in. The door locks automatically after it's been opened and shut. There's security cameras inside that run motion so I can see what's going on. Once you stop in, I'll kind of give you the gist of how the bait shop actually works if you're self-serve. It's pretty easy. You just got to do it a couple times and you'll get it down pretty easy.
And that's right there in about the center of Manson, isn't it? What's the address?
It's just one block east of the stoplight, the only stoplight that's in town on Main Street.
What's the address?
918 13th Street.
Nice. Yeah, it's easy to find. You can drive around Manson if you had to and find it. It's
just
not a
north
big
of the
town.
elevator.
Yep, definitely. And what do you got in for bait right now?
Right now I have minnows, leeches, night crawlers. We're fixing to get some chubs back in. They've been pretty popular this year. Wintertime we usually carry the waxies, the spikes, and all that stuff. But yeah.
And then you have some other items, I mean, as well. Your bobbers, your hooks,
Yep.
jigs.
Yep.
We got any rods, reels, anything like that?
Yep, we carry a decent line of tackle. Some trolling stuff, just like your normal jig heads, hooks, bobbers, Lindy rigs, crankbaits, a little bit of catfishing stuff, some fishing line. I do have a few rods. I'm actually got approved to be a St. Croix dealer.
Nice.
I'm hoping to get some St. Croix rods sooner or later here.
Great.
I'm just trying to build my customer base a little bit before I spend all that money to buy all those rods.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Very expensive.
There's not a great markup like everybody thinks there is
Yep.
in them. So yeah, it takes a little bit of investment, but they are a great rod.
Yep.
They have a great warranty, and they're a great company.
Yep.
So what do we got going on for fishing over that way?
Right now, Brushy Creek has been on fire this year for walleye fishing.
I've reiterated that the last 3 or 4 weeks. So yep.
Crappie fishing's still going pretty decent on their spawning beds. Like I said, the walleyes, you catch them. That lake's a big leech lake. They love leeches. You can catch a few on minnows, but they prefer leech in that lake. If you're big into muskie fishing, that lake has a ton of big ones. Another lake that's been going pretty good is Twin Lakes, believe it or not. There's some nice walleyes in that lake, and they also stocked muskie in it, I think 2 years ago now. And man, they have grown tremendously. They're eating well. There's quite a few of them in there. I've seen them net it this spring. So if you like muskie fishing, give that lake a shot.
What size do they got to?
I've caught, actually, me and my son went out there and we caught a 38-incher already.
Wow. So I assume they stock like 9-inchers.
I think the first ones I've seen, they were about 12 to 18 inches long.
Nice.
Yeah, so they're growing pretty quick.
Yeah, well, they got some stuff to eat in there. So.
Yes. Storm Lake, I've heard the walleye bite's on fire over there right now as far as the trolling bite goes. I haven't personally checked it out myself, but I believe it because it's been kind of off for the last 5 years, and I've always called that a 5-year lake. Once 5 years goes past, for some reason it turns on.
Yep.
And actually, this is the 6th year, so
yep.
I believe it's probably going. I'm not sure on, I think it's called Badger Lake. I call it Kennedy Park,
Lake.
Kennedy Lake. But that lake I've heard has some really nice crappies in it, surprisingly, even though they drained it not that long ago. I have a bunch of guys that come in for bait that go fishing out there and catch them. Not recently, but I know they're in there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Yeah, they have some really nice crappie in there for only being stocked 2 or 3 years.
Yep,
So,
yep.
a lot of them, in fact. It's a good spot to go if you want to take kids as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
You heard much about Blackhawk, or is it kind of slowed down a little bit? Or
Blackhawk, I've heard it's slowed down a little bit. I haven't been over there for a few weeks myself. I know it's been fished pretty hard the last couple of years. A lot of nice fish been pulled out of that lake.
It's not a huge lake either.
No,
so,
no.
Yeah. It's really nice. I mean, it's clean.
Yep,
The area around.
yes.
It's a nice town. It's just a really nice area.
And you don't have to deal with the boaters, the wave runners as much, you know. Twin
Yeah.
Lakes, you're going to struggle a little bit with that, I think. But
Yeah, I think you recommend if they go to Twin, you want to do maybe early morning, late afternoon.
Yep.
Weekdays if you can.
Yep.
Yeah, because you'll
100%.
get, if you got a small fishing boat, you might get rolled.
Yep.
So just fair warning. But there is, since they took the carp out of there, essentially, they brought the semis in.
Yeah, they did it this spring. And
Did they do it again?
Yeah, they're actually disappointed in the carp numbers. I talked to them because they said they usually catch a lot more. So to me, that's a better sign. But
They were bringing semis in, weren't
yeah,
they?
they were pulling like 80,000 pounds out of there, like a lot.
So it did help clean it up. Hence,
Yes.
you got a better walleye bite. You got the muskies. There's crappie in there, I know. So,
There's some big crappies.
yep. So it's actually kind of a hidden little lake now because nobody ever suspected Twin Lakes to be a good fishery, but it is.
Yep,
It is. But
it
just
is.
be wary when you go and fish.
Yep.
Again, why don't you give us your hours of operation?
So once again,
make sure.
the store's actually open 7:30 to 5. That's the actual normal business hours. But like I said, after hours, the bait shop will be open pretty much 24/7. I prefer not anything after 9 o'clock because I have to manually open the door for you. But for right now, that's how I'm using it because it's just easier and I trust it that way. So
No, it makes sense. Well, it makes a great opportunity too. There's not many bait places you can go around and get bait at 8 o'clock at
Yes,
night. So
yes.
if you want to do some night fishing or get some bait for early
Yep.
morning,
Yep.
by all means stop in. I know you guys very meticulous about your bait.
yeah, I'm
Very
yeah.
meticulous. I tell you, I probably not any better bait in the state of Iowa, maybe in the freaking US of A, because you hate to lose 1 minute.
I've spent a lot of time. I'm almost a marine biologist now.
Yeah, I bet you are, so-
I've done a lot of studying, and I'm trying really hard to keep the bait as fresh as I can for you guys. I'm a huge fisherman. I'm trying to keep all of my stuff fairly inexpensive as much as I can. I know how it is. I don't like to go out and spend a bunch of money on stuff either, but yeah, just stop by and check it out. At least, spread the word for me, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. And Shawn is a fisherman. I mean, I call him the old river rat. And I kind of
Yep.
a river rat too. Growing up in Fort Dodge, fishing Des Moines River since my parents let me go down there.
Yep.
So he knows fishing. He knows where they're biting. He can help you. I strongly recommend swinging in if you get over by Manson, or even if you're not over by Manson. If you're headed to Sioux City, stop in and grab some bait, and he can give you some great guidance. So please make sure to support his business as we're going forward. And I appreciate you being here.
Hey, thank you, bud.
You bet. We'll fish soon.
Yep.
He's getting to Canada tomorrow, lucky bastard, but that's okay.
Yep.
Maybe when you get back.
Yep.
So appreciate it a lot.
All right, cool.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
I want to thank Shawn for stopping in. Again, he really knows what he's talking about. So if you have any chance to swing by his bait shop, if you need hardware, lumber, he can get you taken care of. So he has really good prices. He is a fisherman, so he knows prices count. And he stocks really good stuff. So I want to thank him for stopping in. Just a couple things to get to. I got the winners for last week of the what is that? Practice safe stuffing. Please use casings. Apron from Lou's. I got 3 winners: Nick Scott, Joseph Miles, and Dan Rhodes. You guys are the winners this week. We'll be DMing you on Facebook, so look for that so we can get your address and get this stuff mailed out to you. Appreciate you sharing, following. Continue to do that as you go forward. Again, that kind of wraps it up for this week. Next week will be, I think, the 19th or so it's starting to get a little warmer. But there's still fish biting. It doesn't matter. There's always fish to find. Make sure you get your grandmas, your grandpas, your kids, your wife, your brothers, your sisters out. Enjoy the outdoors. Because it's going to get cold before you know it. And like, share, and follow, and we appreciate your support as we go forward in the Iowa Hunting Fishing Report.
Special thanks to Manson Lumber, Bait and Tackle for sponsoring this episode of the Iowa Hunting and Fishing Report. Be sure to give us a like and follow on your favorite podcast platform. That's it for today, folks, and keep hunting.